While he was saying these things to them, behold, a ruler came in and knelt before him, saying, My daughter has just died, but come and lay your hand on her, and she will live. And Jesus rose and followed him with his disciples. The other Gospels tell us that the ruler's name was Jairus, and that he was probably on the council of one of the synagogues. Synagogues had elders just as churches today have elders. He was a ruler, and he came to Jesus and knelt before him. The word for knelt is proskuneo in Greek, the same word used in Matthew chapter 8 and Matthew chapter 2 of the wise men and the leper who worshipped Jesus. That is why some translations say that the ruler came to worship Jesus. This is significant because his worship of Jesus reveals his faith in Jesus. He had remarkable faith in Jesus. This ruler believed that if Jesus would come to his daughter and lay his hand on her, she would be raised to life. He made this clear to Jesus. My daughter has just died, but come and lay your hand on her and she will live. He, just as the woman, had heard the reports about Jesus. They knew about his healings and miracles. They knew this was not any ordinary man. He believed this Jesus could raise the dead. This is why he worshipped him. Who has power to raise the dead but God? Who can make your heart start beating and breath come into your nostrils but God? This was the faith they had, that Jesus can raise the dead. His knowledge about Christ was correct. Jesus Christ is the resurrection and the life. John chapter 11, verse 25. Verse 23. And when Jesus came to the ruler's house and saw the flute players and the crowd making a commotion, he said, Go away, for the girl is not dead, but sleeping. And they laughed at him. But when the crowd had been put outside, he went in and took her by the hand, and the girl arose. And the report of this went through all that district. In ancient times, when people died, there would be mourners as expected. Often these were professional mourners who wept and wailed. And this is indeed what we find here. Mourners were playing a dirge on the flutes and making a commotion. In many cultures today, there would be mourning for the dead for several days. Jesus' reaction is astonishing. He commands his mourners to go away because the Messiah is here. It is not a time for weeping and mourning and fasting. He tells them that the girl is not dead, but sleeping. Now, what was Jesus saying here? Why did he tell the people that she was only sleeping and not dead? They laughed at him. Why? Everybody knew she was dead. Even her father had told Jesus that she was dead. Was Jesus misinformed? What was Jesus trying to achieve? Why did Jesus say this? Jesus knew what he was going to do, and he knew that in Capernaum, the place where he had performed many miracles, many did not believe in him. Many times in the Bible, Jesus told those whom he healed not to tell anybody what had happened. We call it the messianic secret. This is a theme throughout the gospel. He did not want the word to get to the religious authorities too soon before his work was completed. Jesus had more places to go to, more miracles to perform. And if the word about him spread too quickly, his work would have been hampered. In a sense, Jesus was right. She wasn't dead, for she was going to live soon. Jesus didn't promote a lie, but acted in wisdom. Verse 25. But when the crowd had been put outside, he went in and took her by the hand, and the girl arose. What we see here is one of Jesus' greatest miracles. The other Gospels tell us that Jesus took James, John, and Peter with him. The Gospel of Mark records that Jesus said, Talita kumi, which means, little girl, I say to you, arise. Mark records that Jesus told his parents not to tell anyone what had happened. Again, we see Jesus unwilling to make his power known. And verse 26 says, and the report of this went through all that district. The crowd knew what had happened and spoke of it. We see here, as we see in John chapter 11, when Jesus raised Lazarus, the power of Jesus over death, our greatest enemy. Although Lazarus' resurrection was a public display here in the beginning phase of Jesus' ministry, Jesus wanted his miracle power to be kept quiet because he still had much work to do. But what we see in this story is remarkable. Jesus showed those who believe what he was capable of, raising the dead. In fact, Jesus will one day raise the dead to life, some to eternal life and others to eternal condemnation. He is the resurrection and the life. He who believes in him shall live even when they die. See John chapter 11, verse 25. Do you believe in Him?